253 miles per hour. That number deserves a moment. It's faster than a commercial aircraft lifts off the runway. Faster than a fighter jet at takeoff. Faster than any Formula One car has ever gone during a race. And the man preparing to chase it down a runway was Matt Armstrong, the same person who fixed this Bugatti Veyron with a 1-pound fuse, serviced it for 1,100 pounds when Bugatti had quoted 20,000 pounds, and rebuilt the entire car without a single part from the manufacturer. The Veyron, as it turned out, had its own ideas about how this story would end. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because what happened between this garage and that runway is one of the most brutally honest things to come out of this entire rebuild. And the ending is going to make your jaw drop. Before a top-speed run could be taken seriously, the car needed to actually be finished. The wrap removal from the last episode had revealed something the original white vinyl had been quietly hiding. The paint beneath it wasn't consistent across every panel. The rear bumper had taken years of stone chip damage and needed a full respray before it could be considered done. Once it came back from the body shop, Matt made the styling call that immediately split the comments section in two. Every light blue accent on the car was coming off. In its place, satin metallic silver wrap, chosen specifically to align the exterior with the chrome and dark blue theme already running through the cabin. Door by door, panel by panel, the silver went on. And the more of the car it covered, the more the Veyron began to look like something genuinely personal, a car built around a vision, rather than a factory specification someone happened to own. The front splitter told its own story. A previous owner had destroyed it at some point in the car's complicated history, and it had been sent off to exclusive composites for restoration. What came back was indistinguishable from new. Fresh carbon fiber laid over the damage, vacuum-bagged, oven-cured, lacquered, and polished to a finish that made the original look tired by comparison. Bob then fabricated custom stainless steel hardware to anchor the splitter back to the bumper, because Bugatti refused to sell the fasteners, and the originals had long since been ripped out. Then came the speed key, and this one deserves its full moment. A Bugatti Veyron speed key is the component that unlocks top speed mode. Insert it with the car stationary and the doors closed, and it drops the rear wing flat, lowers the ride height, and removes the aerodynamic restrictions that cap the car well below its 253 miles per hour potential. Bugatti's rumored replacement price sits north of $10,000. It arrives in a special presentation box. It is positioned as one of the most exclusive, most specialized components in the entire car. Matt took the existing key to a locksmith. The blade was scanned, a copy was cut onto a blank, and then the slot was checked for a transponder. There was no coil, no chip, no electronic pairing, no coding required. The Bugatti Veyron Speed Key, the component Bugatti presents in a velvet box at a price most owners never even get quoted, is a cut piece of metal that completes a physical switch. For context, a Volkswagen Touareg passenger airbag key fits the same slot. The entire thing cost the price of a single locksmith visit. Mate Rimac has spent years telling the world that Bugatti's components are too specialized and too complex for independent workshops to handle. The speed key isn't even electronically complex. It just needed someone to actually check. The first test drive produced a blown indicator fuse. Because no wiring diagram exists for this car in the public domain, every fuse across 3 separate fuse boxes had to be tested individually with a multimeter until the faulty 5-amp unit was found and replaced. A process that took far longer than it should have for a fault that cost less than £1 to fix. Then cylinder 16 misfired, again. The coil pack on that cylinder hadn't been fully seated during the service. It had been sitting fractionally proud of the spark plug the entire time, making intermittent contact and dropping fault codes whenever the engine warmed up to temperature. Once it was pushed fully home with a little silicone spray on the seal, the misfire disappeared entirely. No new parts. No diagnostic fee. No dealership. Just a coil pack that needed another ½ centimeter of pressure to do its job properly. New Vossen wheels were fitted at Wheelmania. The aftermarket TPMS sensors carried their own unique identification codes, and Bugatti's official position is that programming them to the car requires dealership access to put the system into relearn mode. The TPMS warning light cleared without any of that. The dashboard went completely clean. For the first time in this entire rebuild, this Bugatti Veyron had no fault codes, a working speed key, fresh rubber, rebuilt bodywork, and a correctly functioning gearbox. And then the gearbox pressure collapsed. One of the accumulators responsible for holding hydraulic pressure during gear selection started bleeding down faster than the pump could restore it. The pump ran continuously, trying to keep pace with the pressure loss. Gear selection became unreliable. The car that had just been pronounced healthy suddenly had no gears, and a pump working itself toward failure trying to compensate. Veyron sourced a single replacement accumulator from their own stock. It went in. Pressure hold time climbed from under 60 seconds to 1 minute and 37. Not ideal, but possibly, just possibly, the runway at Dunsfold was booked. The weather was marginal. The track was wet. The team waited, and while they waited, the full weight of what was sitting in front of them started to sink in. This wasn't a car being pushed to its limits for the first time under controlled factory conditions. This was a machine that had been split in two, serviced on a fraction of the manufacturer's quoted cost, repaired entirely without official support, and then driven 150 miles to a runway on one healthy accumulator and one that was barely holding pressure. The team had done everything humanly possible to get it there. Whether the car was going to honor that effort was an entirely different question. When the speed key was inserted, car stationary, doors closed, dashboard completely clear of fault codes, it worked on the first attempt. Top speed mode activated. The rear wing dropped flat. The ride height lowered. The car was ready. Matt put a helmet on inside a leather interior with heated seats, which is possibly the most surreal combination in the history of motorsport. And then he drove down the runway on a familiarization run, gauging braking distances and feeling the car respond at speed for the first time. The Veyron pulled cleanly. It held its line. It came back feeling genuinely capable. For one brief window, it seemed like everything was finally going to deliver the moment the entire rebuild had been pointing toward. On the return run, with the track drying and the conditions finally coming together, the fuel pump control module lost communication with the rest of the car. No warning. No fault code before it happened. No indication at all. The car that had driven over 150 miles to the runway without a single issue. That had passed every system check on site. That had activated top speed mode cleanly and pulled down the tarmac with total conviction, stopped working at the precise moment that everything had finally aligned. No gears. No drive. A fuel pump control module showing no signal and no communication. A top speed attempt that made it to the runway, completed one pass, and then died on the return. This is the part of the Bugatti Veyron story that nobody tells when they talk about the car's legacy. The 253 miles per hour record. The W16 engine. The 10 radiators. The quad turbos. The engineering achievement that redefined what a road car could do. Nobody mentions that getting a 20-year-old Veyron to actually perform that number requires every single one of its systems to cooperate simultaneously, on the same day, in the same conditions, with the same level of precision that Bugatti's engineers baked into a brand new car in 2005. 2 decades of age, storage, neglect, and the endless cycle of fix one thing and break another have made that coordination almost impossibly difficult to achieve. Matt Armstrong fixed the fuse. He serviced the car. He sourced the parts. He built the speed key. He repaired the bodywork, solved the misfire, replaced the accumulator, drove 150 miles, activated top speed mode, and put rubber on that runway. The Veyron waited until that exact moment, and then sent a fuel pump control module fault that nobody saw coming.